we are quickly approaching the end of Vlogmas, so I decided that I would have it keep going up until Christmas Day, but I probably will upload the day after Christmas because I don't know if I'm gonna have time to breathe before that, because usually we're at my dad's. But for today, I figured I would do a top 10 things you may or may not know about me. And since my memory is pretty bad, I decided to write them down because, you know, I have pretty bad memory, so I figured. Alright, the first thing is I actually did karate for 20 years. That might give you an idea, I guess, how old I could be. But I did practice for 20 years. Ever since I was little, I was such a huge fan of martial arts, and I begged my parents to put me in karate. And the style of karate I did is called Kyokushin, which was a huge part of my life. I guess this is going to go in the same category, but I do have a tattoo of the symbol on my ankle, but it's kind of mushy now. I don't know what to do with that tattoo, but it's on my ankle. It's little. It's like really, really small. So that's the first thing. The next one is I actually suck at art. And some of you are going to be, you know what, no, you're good at it, and I'm looking at like Timothy. Timothy's like, oh, you had a smirk. I had a smirk because I'm remembering something when I was young. One of my teachers in grade 4 was so convinced at how bad I am at art that when we had our Friday afternoon art class session, she's like, all right, so today you guys are going to write your names in the most creative way that you can that reflects your personality. So I'm like, oh, that's so cool. So I do like dragons and colorful things. And, you know, I showed it to her and she looks at it and her face is so cold. And she grabs my paper that I wrote my name with color, and like I put my soul into it. I think I was like in grade 4. She grabs it and she tears it. And she's like, this is not art. And she hands it to me in my hand, and I was in such shock. I'm like, what the heck just happened? Did she just tear my art? I was in such shock that she would do something like that. And then the bell rang and everyone was sent home. And then all I remember is staying in shock this whole time. And then once I got home, I went up the stairs, opened the door, all very, very, very calmly. Like imagine grade 4 Jackie going home as stoic as could be, opening the door, saying hi to my mom, going into the bathroom, closing the door, and then crying my eyes out. I didn't want anyone seeing me cry, but I know that my mom knew because she knocked at the door and she asked me if I was okay. And I told her that, you know, I ended up telling her what happened, and she definitely took my side because she saw the paper in my hand all torn, and yeah, she was my protector for that. I don't remember what happened after that, but that teacher was mean. She was mean. All she did was just pick on me. Even when I had one of my best friends, I know that we're going off on a tangent. One of my best friends, oh, I loved her so much. We used to play marbles together. Big, tall girl that nobody really played with because she was a tall girl. She was like a real girl. She was like hardcore fun, but people were scared because they thought she looked like a bully, which she was not. She was like the biggest softie. And my teacher came up to me, she's like, I saw you were playing with, I used to call my friend Joker, but her name is Joquebed. And she's like, I see you play with Joquebed. I'm like, yeah. She's like, I don't want you playing with her anymore. Who's this teacher? Like, what's her business to tell me who to play with and what art is? So I think my complex of art came from this lady because she just tore my stuff. And then all the other kinds of arts, like performing art, I had a teacher look at me because we were playing we were in a play, and she's like, yeah, you don't have talent on on the screen. Get off. So and look at me now. What am I doing? I'm doing the two things 2 teachers, very different teachers, told me I suck at. I'm not good at art, and I'm doing art. And they told me get off the screen. Well, it wasn't screen, it was like on the play, the set. So, and even though I really loved, and I hoped, like one of my things was to hope and become kind of an actor, but that's not gonna happen because I actually am a bad actor. All right. Third, Pat and I actually met at karate. So since I've been doing karate for that long, I guess something was bound to happen, and we met there. And just before I say this, Pat and I are the same age. We're the same age. But the only difference is I was his coach. So I remember the first day Pat walked in because he was so awkward. He was so awkward. And then he gave me his, to sign up, I was like, okay, what's your last name? So he gives me his last name and I look at him like, how do you spell that? Because it was just such a weird name, Polish people. You guys have very interesting ways to write your names. So yeah, we actually met at karate. Fourth, I'm an active sleeper. That's weird, right? But I do talk in my sleep, and once in a while, which is very rare, I think it's only happened twice in my life, I've slept-walked. Can you say that? I sleepwalk? Slept-walk in the past? I did some sleepwalking. But that only happened twice. And I do talk. Apparently, like, when I have a really good day, Pat tells me that I do kind of, like, chuckle in my sleep, which is so weird. So, yeah, I would be freaked out. If someone next to me started, like, talking or doing anything in their sleep, I probably would be freaked out. So I don't know how Pat is very calm about that. 5. I absolutely love reading, but that's not the fact. The fact about me is I can't stand classics. I'm so sorry for anyone who's a huge fan of literature and thinks that the classics are the greats. I can't stand classics. So, sorry, so things like Shakespeare and Jane Eyre, these things, oh my gosh, are they boring or what? That's why, as a teacher, I vowed never to teach classics, because I just find them so boring. I mean, why am I want to read so that I can immerse myself in the world. And if I have to spend half my time trying to figure out what the heck is being said on paper, I don't know if I can enjoy the story. And I've read many classics, by the way, before you guys go on tangents and say, you know what, you just have to give it a chance. No. I've given it plenty of chances. I've read so many classics that I just don't like them. But you see, it's funny because I think classics are very relevant for their time. But Harry Potter has become a classic, but it's a classic of our time. So that's something I think that needs to be distinguished for classics. So old school classics, just no. Just absolutely no. Where are we? 6. I am actually ambidextrous. I work well with both left and right. But I am more dominant on my right side because my parents forced me to work on my right side more so as a kid, because for some reason they thought that the left side, if you were eating or writing or drawing with your left hand, you were the devil child. I don't know, it's like this whole superstitious belief. So I am ambidextrous. So when people say, opposite hand challenge, I think that doesn't apply necessarily to sculpting, because I should be more than okay. Unless I did one hand challenge, then I can't hold things, and that would be difficult. Number 7, I am not a huge music fan. I know some people, so for example, Pat will listen to music while he's at work for 7 hours a day. So he'll have music on and it'll get him into the groove. And some of my students or friends, what they do is they can actually have music on while they're grading or while they're working on assignments. I can't. I don't know if that has to do with my ADD or what, but I can't focus. If there's music going on, which I love music on itself, if there's nothing going on, and I do listen to things obsessively, but I wouldn't just have music on to have something in the background. Does that make sense? So I'm not huge into just like having music around. 8. Oh, this went by very quickly. Number 8. I actually love camping. I can't stand spiders, but once I'm in the forest, I feel so good. And I've done some camping, I did some backpacking, and I have my full kit, my cooking gear, my tent, my tarp, everything. I wish I could do more camping and more backpacking. One of my dreams was to actually kind of backpack in New Zealand, but it just hasn't happened yet, but I would love to do that. And then I just realized, a lot of those things in Australia are actually in New Zealand too, so I'll probably end up dead. So I love camping so much. Number 9. So the last two, I'm just gonna prep you guys like mentally. The last two are kind of heavier topics, but I don't want to go into detail about them. Maybe one day when I do a draw my life. So this is just to prep you mentally about this, that for sure you guys don't know. So number 9, I was actually out of the house by the age of 17. And things were not too good at home. So I ended up moving out and staying with my brothers who were out at the time too. So we fended for ourselves and took care of ourselves, and I think that's why we have such a strong bond with each other. I don't want to go into too much detail about that. But like I said, I really want to do a Draw My Life someday. Maybe I think at 500,000 subscribers, which is far off. Maybe I'll do a Draw My Life. I think some of you said I should do a Clay My Life, which is going to be so hard. I might do maybe a chibi me and then have like different heads that I can put up and down, but I don't think I could do a whole environment with clay. That would be so cool, but it would be so time consuming too. I'd have to think about that. And the last one, number 10, the hashtag #MeToo, I belong to that too. So I'm not gonna go into detail, but I don't want, now I know I said it out there, but I just don't want to get into too much detail just because I guess I don't like drama, but I don't know what to say. It's one of those rare times where I just don't know what to say, because these things happen and you might not know to whom and how or why. They just do. So these are 10 things about me, and since I want to get to know you guys, because it's always fun to get to know you, I want to know, give me a couple of facts or one thing about you that I might not know. And I'm sure there's a lot. So it could be anything from, I don't know, your favorite food, your favorite color, your favorite video game, or anything else that you're okay with putting out there. So leave them in the comment section below. I'll see you guys tomorrow. By the way, the hair color is starting to be a little less orange. I know some of you guys are like, it's caramel, but usually the last 10 times I got it, it was more brown. It's still on the orangey side, but still browner.